I'm Patrick Pender, and I went on a break at Sharpham House about 5 years ago. My cancer treatment, I mean, it seems to have been fine in retrospect, but at the time I hadn't been able to have the chemo I was persuaded to have because I got one of the worst side effects after about 3 days. And after that, really, my dealings with the hospital kind of rather fell apart. They had no plan B, and I was just left entirely to my own devices as to what to do. My experience with Cancer Lifeline Southwest really changed that. I think just the sheer kindness of a group of people I'd never met, and they'd never met me, who just suddenly came along and put their arm around me almost and said, "You do matter as a person. We want to show you to help you get on with the rest of your life." Really, was just something. It was a bolt out of the blue. I wasn't really expecting, and I kind of, it kind of really set me up for the next few years. And I've never really lost that kind of flame that it ignited in me. Kind of spurred me on to realize that I have got a future, and that, life is wonderful, and you have a part to play in that. It's and it was so much in contrast to what I was experiencing at the hospital, where they didn't really want to engage about anything alternative, or although that was the only real course of action that I had. Yes, it was being together with a group of people, and the one thing we all had in common was the fact we'd had cancer or been touched by cancer, somebody, a partner or whatever. So everybody kind of understood where we were coming from. You weren't having to explain, you weren't having to, apologize almost, and there was kind of a lot of humor and a lot of, there were very painful times, things we talked about, not necessarily to do with cancer, but our lives, really. And the fact that there were none of the usual distractions of everyday life, mobile phones, everything, meant that we had only ourselves to talk to, really, and that was a wonderful luxury. It just doesn't really happen very often now. I have taken away from that the importance of mindfulness. I mean, I work as a gardener, so I'm kind of used to being outside in touch with nature and all that sort of thing. And it kind of spurred me on as well to get a little timber chalet by the sea, which is my form of mindfulness, really. And I think that all those kind of things, I probably wouldn't really have done it. Well, the food was really great at Sharpham, and again, it was a measure of the care that was taken of us, that our dietary requirements were taken into consideration and all that sort of thing. We weren't even allowed to kind of wash up or take a plate through to the kitchen or something, all our time was kind of spent engaging with each other, and being in such a lovely place, you could go out for walks or go swimming in the pool, or all sorts of things. And yeah, it's great. So there's kind of lots of enjoyment as well as, some very serious, very sort of deep conversations. Yeah.